Good day everyone. Welcome to my channel Quick Tech Master Mariner. Don't forget to like, subscribe and press the bell icon to get notification of all other videos.
All right, let's dive right in. We're about to map out what could be your future. A really structured and honestly an incredibly rewarding career at sea. So if you've ever thought about a life of travel, a life with some serious responsibility, stick around. We're going to break down exactly how you can join the Merchant Navy. I mean, have you ever just stood by the ocean, seen one of those massive ships, and thought to yourself, what does it actually take to be in charge of that thing? It's a career that screams adventure, right? But it also comes with some huge responsibility. So let's explore what that journey really looks like. Well, you've definitely come to the right place. Today, we're going to chart that course for you, breaking down all the exact steps and all the different pathways you can take. Seriously, think of this as your personal career map to joining the Merchant Navy. Okay, so where do we start? Let's kick things off with the most common entry point, the officer path. This one's for all of you who've just finished up your Class 12. Whoa, okay. Now, I know this probably looks a little complicated at first glance, but don't worry about it. This is the official roadmap, and we're going to walk through it together, step by step, until it's crystal clear. Promise. All right, first things first, let's talk about the absolute must-haves. Before you can even think about applying, you've got to meet these requirements. Academically, you need a pretty strong science background. We're talking at least 60% in physics, chemistry, and math, and 50% in English. Age-wise, you've got to be under 25. And then there's the medical side. You have to be fit with perfect 6/6 eyesight. And listen, this last one is so important, it's a deal breaker. You absolutely cannot be colorblind. These are the non-negotiables for sure. So you've ticked all those boxes? Great! Now you're ready for your first big challenge, the IMUCET. That stands for the Indian Maritime University Common Entrance Examination. And here's the thing, it doesn't matter which officer path you're aiming for after Class 12, everybody has to clear this test. It's the gateway. Okay, so you've passed the entrance exam, now you're at a fork in the road, a really big decision. Which department are you going to join? You basically have two main choices. There's the deck side, which is all about navigation, cargo, and managing the ship. That's the path if you dream of becoming a captain. Then there's the engine side. You're literally the heart of the ship, responsible for all the machinery. This path leads to becoming a chief engineer. So the question is, do you want to steer the ship or do you want to make it go? All right, let's say you pick the deck side. Here's what your journey looks like. First up, you'll either do a 3-year BSc or a 1-year diploma in nautical science. Once you're done with the books, it's time to get your hands dirty with 12 to 18 months of training at sea as a deck cadet. After that, you got to pass the second officer exams held by the government. You clear those and congratulations, you're officially joining a ship as a third or second officer. Now, what if you're more drawn to the engine room? Well, that path is a little different. You'll do a full 4-year bachelor's in marine engineering. The sea training is actually shorter, just 6 months as an engine cadet. After that, you sit for the Class 4 engineer exams. Get that certification, and you're ready to start your career as a junior or fourth engineer. So you see, both paths get you to a certified officer role, they're just different specializations. But wait, what if you've already got a degree? Maybe you're thinking you missed the boat. Well, you haven't. Don't worry, there's absolutely a path for you too. Let's look at how graduates can get into the officer path. So if you're coming in with an engineering degree or a diploma already under your belt, your journey's going to look different. It's less starting from scratch and more of a specialized conversion course. Here's the breakdown. Okay, so if you've got a BE in mechanical or marine engineering, you can get on a real fast track. The age limit is a little more relaxed, under 28. You'll do a super focused 12-month program at a maritime training institute, then 6 months of sea service as an engine cadet. The whole point is to get you that Class 4 certificate and get you on the ladder to becoming a chief engineer fast. And hey, for all you electrical and electronics engineers out there, there's a special route for you too. And get this, the age limit is even higher, all the way up to 35. The institute training is really quick, just 4 months. Then you'll do 8 months of sea training as an electrotechnical cadet. Your end goal? To become a certified electrotechnical officer. That's a super important specialist role, taking care of all the complex electrical stuff on the ship. So far, we've been all about the officers, but they're not the only crew on board, not by a long shot. There's another absolutely vital way to join the Merchant Navy, and this one opens up way earlier, right after Class 10. Yeah, this path is for the ratings. And let me tell you, these skilled seafarers are the absolute backbone of the ship. They handle pretty much everything from maintenance to hospitality. You couldn't sail without them. They are completely essential. So for ratings, there are basically three main routes you can take. First, there's the General Purpose or GP rating course. That sets you up for work on either the deck or in the engine room. Then there's the Saloon rating course, which is your ticket if you want to become a cook or a steward. And finally, there's an even shorter path to become an assistant cook. Each one has its own specific training and sea time, but they all lead to a solid career. All right, so we've covered all the different doors to get in. Now for the exciting part. How do you climb the ladder? Let's talk about getting to the very top, no matter which path you started on. So what does that journey to the top really look like? Well, you start out as a cadet. Pretty quickly, maybe within a year or two, you're a junior officer or engineer. Put in a few more years at sea, pass your exams, and bam, you're a senior officer. And from there, that ultimate goal being the captain or the chief engineer, it's not just a dream, it's right there on the horizon. And how long does all this take? You might be surprised. On average, we're talking about 6 years of sea service to reach those top ranks. Think about that. That is an incredibly fast track to a position with huge authority and responsibility. And with that kind of authority, you bet there are some serious rewards. The source material says it best, and I'm quoting here. You can be promoted to master, captain of ship in about 6 years sea service with very high remuneration. So yeah, the money is good. The financial rewards definitely match the level of responsibility you're taking on. So let's wrap this all up. What are the biggest things to take away from our little voyage today? First, there are tons of ways to get in, whether you're fresh out of Class 10, Class 12, or you've already got a degree. Second, the career path is super clear. It's all laid out with exams and sea time. Third, you've got those two main officer tracks to choose from, deck if you want to navigate, and engine if you love machinery. And finally, and this is a big one, you can reach a top leadership role with a really high salary in about 6 years. Not bad, right? Which really just leaves one final question as we pull into port on this one. We've mapped out the entire course for you, so is a life at sea going to be your next great voyage?